You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Look at the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. So whenever you feel alone, just remember that those kings will always be there to guide you.
I don't think it is very useful to speculate on what God might or might not be able to do. Rather, we should examine what he actually does with the universe we live in.
We are all explorers, driven to know what's over the horizon. The most profound discoveries are not necessarily beyond that next star. They're within us, woven into the threads that bind us.
Hello, beautiful people. Happy Thursday. Happy Jupiter Day. Happy June 16th. We're almost to the end of the week. And we have some really interesting Gemini birthdays today. The two most notable birthdays are very much on opposite ends of the spectrum. First and foremost, Tupac would have celebrated a birthday today. What have I kept saying about rappers being Geminis? They love that wordplay, right? And then Phil Mickelson is also a Gemini, so definitely not Tupac. He's the famous golfer. How's everybody doing today? I saw your comment. Happy belated birthday to you. Thank you for being here. Glad you could join us live. Today is kind of a funky day astrologically, so we're going to walk through the energy of the planets, what's going on. The sun is very much still in Gemini. Mercury is in Gemini, so the pace has picked up quite a bit, but today's aspects could create kind of a slowdown or an opportunity to come back to our center, get a little bit grounded, and review everything that we've accomplished so far. So we're talking a lot about Saturn and Neptune today, something that I have been touching on quite a bit lately because both of them are at the same degree, but they're only one sign away from each other. So, you know what? Let me just show you this on the chart. Hi, Diane. Happy to see you here. So just to give you like a basic energetic review. Here are where all the planets are, of course, if you look at the chart. But Saturn retrograde is at 25 degrees in Aquarius. Neptune is at 25 degrees in Pisces. This is called a semi-sextile. It's a minor aspect. So these two planets have been at these degrees for several weeks now. They're very slow moving. They're outer bodies in our solar system. Now, a semi-sextile, it's like they're in two different elements. They are in two different modalities. They really have nothing in common, but it's almost as if Saturn over here is setting the stage for what Neptune is doing. So it's like, you know, the zodiac wheel can be seen as a progression. So one sign builds off of the next sign. What Saturn's doing in Aquarius is laying the groundwork, literally Saturn laying the groundwork for the dreams that Neptune is imagining in Pisces. So that's kind of just like something to keep in mind as we go through today's transits. Girl, Diane, I'm right there with you. Literally reading your comment, I could feel like tears coming back up because I just, you know, it's funny. I always say when you're aligned with the transits, when you watch the forecast, when you know they're coming, it makes them easier to navigate, which I stand by. That's absolutely true. But it doesn't make us exempt from the transits. And yesterday was such a busy day for me, quite possibly like the busiest day of my life. And at the end of the day, it's just all the emotion came flooding in. And of course, Mars conjunct Chiron, those wounds can be triggered, and we're still feeling that conjunction in the background today. So if you had a moment that was a little bit emotional or, you know, just tension was really big yesterday because the moon was squaring off to that Mars Chiron conjunction. I'm right there with you. Very intense, but good. That's good. I'm glad to hear it was an all right day for you. Hi, Heather. So the moon moves from Capricorn to Aquarius today, which we'll walk through as well. Let's start though with the major transit. This happened actually right around midnight. So the Gemini sun is harmonizing, forming a trine, a 120-degree angle with Saturn. And because Saturn is stuck in that same position in the sky, we're going to be feeling this energy all day, marked by that dark blue line. So what does it mean when the sun harmonizes with Saturn? Well, this is the slowdown I was talking about. You guys have probably been feeling the Gemini energy, especially since Mercury moved into Gemini on Monday. It's like the pace is picking up more and more every day. Your calendar is probably filling up. I was talking to a friend about having like 20 different conversations at the same time with Mercury in Gemini. There's a lot going on. Saturn today is helping us slow down. And remember, Saturn is now retrograde. So we're reviewing our foundations. We're reviewing the structure of things. We're even reviewing the major lessons we've learned in life. And when the sun and Saturn lock into this trine, this could be a moment of conscious awareness with the sun ruling our consciousness about a lesson we've learned. This is also a really positive transit. A trine always brings a positive energy. This is a really positive transit to be recognized for something we've achieved, which is really cool. And so just keep that in mind today. Maybe at work, someone gives you a little pat on the back, good job. Or if you're like me and you work from home and you don't have coworkers, maybe it's that you are recognizing something you have achieved in your own life. So remember, it doesn't have to come from an outside source, but this energy with the sun and Saturn locking in this 120-degree angle is a really great opportunity to just take a moment to review the long-term plan. It's funny because the sun is in Gemini, which is very focused on the short-term plan, the immediate schedule. It's the day-to-day, while Saturn focuses on the long-term plan, the 5-year plan, the 10-year plan, the 20-year plan. So this trine is giving us an opportunity to review the long-term plan in a more immediate sense. Hopefully that is understandable. But it's like asking us, like, is what you're doing day to day aligning in this nice flowing angle with your long-term goals, the big picture. And this trine makes it very easy to get in line, to flow with the long-term goal, to align your day to day, the conversations you're having, the people you're talking to with the long-term plan. I will also say Saturn brings an element of wisdom to it. And, we're really feeling the positive aspects of Saturn today. Saturn is known as the Great Malefic. It doesn't necessarily get a good rap a lot of the time. But today, in this nice 120-degree angle, we're feeling the positive effects of Saturn, and thank goodness for that. So Saturn carries a lot of wisdom. It's known as the father planet. And this is a really great transit for sharing or passing on our wisdom to other people. We are more social. We're having more conversations. It could be an opportunity where you are talking to someone about how much you've learned as you're reviewing your own wisdom, you're reviewing your own achievements and lessons. You can pass those on to other people really naturally, really easily today, kind of step into a leadership position. But I would say the general energy of this transit is expect to feel accomplished. And even if that's not coming immediately, give yourself an opportunity, take a beat to, yes, look ahead, review the long-term plan. But with Saturn in retrograde, remember to look backwards too and see how far you've come, see how much you've grown, especially in the moon phase we're in. We're in this releasing phase of the moon. It's very much retrospective. We're like, wow, we've grown a lot. And, under the full moon, it really illuminated all the ways we've grown. This is a time now that the moon is in Capricorn. We're really looking to the past, feeling the past, and it's a really great opportunity to just give yourself some credit today. What are y'all saying? Let's see. Those vibes yesterday. Luckily it was my day. Yes, it was your birthday. So you probably had a little sprinkle of pixie dust on the transits for you. It was your day. Today is the day my son is traveling to LA for the big meeting tomorrow. I'm so excited. This is really big. I'm excited for you, Heather, and we're all holding a vision of the highest, best possible outcome for you and your family. And I have a good feeling. Stay in that energy too. It's okay to let yourself feel good. Even under a Capricorn moon this morning, it can bring in some fears or some skepticism, but that's okay. We can just hold the vision. Remember, we are co-creating the reality here. Thank you. My work is epic. Yeah, I get to work from home, which is awesome. I am my own boss, though, which she's a little bit tough on me sometimes, my boss. My partner yesterday opened up to me about how he was feeling. He's normally not an emotional person, but it was really powerful to experience and help him through those emotions. That makes me so happy, Rachel. I love that moment. I feel like I was the one who was kind of on the other end. I'm normally the one holding space and kind of pulling feelings and allowing my partner to open up. Speaking of Capricorn energy, he's a Capricorn, so he can be a little closed off sometimes. But isn't it beautiful that when we start to evolve our own consciousness and grow and, awaken in a lot of ways, that our partners end up as a byproduct raising their own consciousness too. And as we become more vulnerable and more in touch with our own emotions, it gives permission for the people around us to do the same thing. And I love how this happened with Mars, the masculine planet, conjunct Chiron, kind of opening those wounds, helping us to take some healing action. So aligned. Yes, total Chiron activation. So aligned. I love that. The Neptune part about making things foggy. Okay, we're going to talk about that right now. Is it just a fantasy or can it really turn into reality? So I love that you asked that question, because at the same time as the sun is forming this nice, mature, patient aspect to Saturn, right? This trine to Saturn not only helps us review our accomplishments, pass on our wisdom, but it helps us be a little bit more mature today and more patient today, which is really nice. The positive aspect of Saturn is patience. But just a few hours later, the sun squared off to Neptune, and that's the energy we're also feeling today. Anytime we have a square to Neptune, there's an element of confusion, and that's marked by that dark red line right there. And it could feel like the line between fantasy and reality is blurred. Just like Heather said, what's fantasy, what's reality? There's confusion. And with the sun not only ruling our vitality, but our energy, our life force energy, our consciousness, our ability to be and live is the sun. When it squares off to Neptune, not only can it make us more confused, but there's an element of kind of weakening our vitality a little bit. We're more sensitive. Neptune creates sensitivity. And that doesn't necessarily mean emotional sensitivity, but it could even be physical sensitivity or energetic sensitivity is how I see it. So just in general today, wash your hands a little bit more, double check who you're around, cough into your elbow. I'm not saying you're going to go out and get sick. Don't be paranoid. The sun square Neptune can create a little bit of paranoia. So don't be paranoid, but do be extra intentional about your wellness, your health today, and kind of protecting your energy. Our energy is easily affected by really slight disruptions. You can almost think of it as when the sun squares Neptune, the energetic field is more easily penetrated, if that makes sense. And again, when in doubt, just slow down. Being a little bit skeptical today could actually serve you well. Just not giving everybody the benefit of the doubt. We're easily deceived, confused. Just, double check things today. I will say, with everything going on with Neptune and Saturn at the same time, it feels like time is being kind of warped, or the concept of time is kind of funky. Sometimes it feels like moments are moving really quickly, and other times it feels really slow. Is anyone else experiencing this? Because, it's been really funky for me this week, and I just have to say, I've been all over the place as far as streaming times when I'm on here. It's been a really hectic week, and I really appreciate you all just being here whenever I show up. It's really awesome. So thank you. Yeah, Heather, this can definitely create doubt when the sun squares Neptune, and Neptune and Saturn both. It's like confusion, doubt, fear. That can all come up very easily today. But we don't have to believe everything that we feel, right? Our feelings aren't truth. And it is feeling, like I said, coming back to the time piece, it's like Neptune creates like being in this dreamland where time doesn't exist, but Saturn is very much about the passage of time. So yeah, it feels like a time warp. I've been lost in what day it is all week too. I almost said happy Monday when we started this show. I'm like, what day is it? Thursday? Oh my goodness. There are, like I said, there are moments where I'm like, the week is flying by, and there are other moments where I've been like, it's only Thursday? Weird. So it does feel like almost this sun squaring off to Neptune, like you're in a fun house, and things are not as they seem today. And I think that's something to come back to, especially for you, Heather. That doubt, that fear that's coming up, remember, things aren't as they seem. So just because it feels big and it feels like, oh my gosh, there's so much doubt, know that you can align with the energy of holding the highest vision, holding the best possible outcome, sending light, sending good energy ahead for the highest possible outcome. I know it's anxiety inducing when you're waiting for a big decision, but remember, you're the co-creator. I know. Time is weird, you guys. So those are the two main transits, really the sun activating both Saturn and Neptune. And as I've talked about, it's kind of nice that we have Saturn and Neptune both making connections at the same time, because one is pretty negative and practical, and Saturn, and Neptune is like dreamy and optimistic and one love and it's all beautiful, you know? So they kind of balance each other out in a really beautiful way. And when those doubts come up, we can lean into faith. When we're a little bit confused, we can come back down to earth and get grounded. So just it's beautiful that these energies are playing off of each other, even though they're not the easiest energies to work with. They are serving us. Okay, let's talk about what's going on with the moon today. So the moon is still in Capricorn this morning. Here's our chart. And just a review of the Capricorn moon, the moon does not like to be here. It doesn't. It's in its weakest position. In fact, I've told you guys this before, but they waited to approve the Declaration of Independence here in the US until the moon moved out of Capricorn, because they believed in astrology, the founding fathers, and they said that the moon was in a weak position and we got to wait till the moon moves into Aquarius. So that's why the US is an Aquarius and Aquarius moon and not a Capricorn. I digress. The moon in Capricorn really cuts us off from our intuition, from our sensitivities, from our emotions. And I think it's really interesting about a Capricorn moon, though, and let me know what you feel about this. Because yes, Capricorn moons are known for like stability and kind of that like emotionally cold expression, really coming back down to like reviewing the structure, and with the moon in its releasing phase, releasing anything that's not solid, not sturdy. It's very masculine and practical. But I will say this about Capricorns, and I actually had a great conversation with another astrologer about this yesterday. Capricorns either are like the coldest ice queens in the world, but they also will cry at the drop of a hat. Let me tell you, they're like also can be the biggest softies. And I think a lot of us experienced that yesterday under the Capricorn moon. Like with that Mars Chiron conjunction, at least my experience was kind of staying practical all day, being in the 3D, being in the real world, not really like leaning into my emotions, just going through the day and being mature and responsible under the Capricorn moon. But there is like a tipping point sometimes under the Capricorn moon when we just crack wide open, and we, it's like that sensitivity comes through in a way that might be a little bit unexpected. So just because the moon is in Capricorn doesn't mean that we don't feel any emotion. It's just there's more resistance to being in that space, right? So just I know I talk about with the Capricorn moon, like, we're cold, we're not attached to our intuition, but that doesn't mean emotion can't come through. Okay, yes, Cass, I'm a Cap sun and everything makes me cry, although my exterior is super tough and icy. Yes, this is how my partner is too. I mean, I'm not saying everything makes him cry, but he can be really sensitive and it's really sweet. Like when he sheds a tear, I'm like, oh, how sweet, you know? So Capricorns and Capricorn energy just gets this icy stereotype, which can be true. Let me just clarify, that can be true sometimes, but it's like Capricorn energy is very guarded and protective of this really soft, gentle part of themselves, and I think that's why they get the stereotype. Rachel says, my sister is a Capricorn sun and has a stellium in Capricorn. This describes her. Yeah, like they have to act all tough and mature and responsible, but deep down, they're just like the rest of us. Capricorns, they're just like us. So, you know, the Capricorn moon, we are feeling a bit more Capricorn, practical. And in this releasing phase, especially with Saturn retrograde, the sun connecting to Saturn retrograde, we're doing a lot of reviewing right now. And it's like, if it's not stable, if it's not steady, if it's not working, it's easy to let it go and release it under the Capricorn moon. Capricorn energy is really good at cutting things off too. It's like cold, you know, this isn't working anymore. So it's all about the end goal. And if it's not working, we're letting it go. That can be beneficial to us, I will say, in this phase of the moon cycle. Agreed, some time warping, also with that blast of energy at the beginning of the week, easily making it full blast, then with like, let me take a break before shit gets extra. Yeah, I've been feeling that too, very much like a push-pull energy all week, like a surge of energy and then we got to take it back, and then a surge of energy and then we've got to slow down. And today could be one of those days where we're just slow down, get back to the plan a little bit. Yeah. There are definitely moments where she will be emotional out of nowhere. This is the story of my life. That's all I'm going to say about that before I get myself into too much trouble. But that is the story of my life. 2 steps forward, 5 steps back. But then we're just going to quantum leap forward, Heather. We're going to quantum leap and you're going to forget what 5 steps back even felt like. All right, so what's going on with the Capricorn moon right now? Well, early this morning, the moon formed a sextile to Neptune. So essentially the moon connected to both Neptune and Saturn, semi-sextile to Saturn, not a major aspect, but that sextile to Neptune, I don't know about you, but it could have felt like you were just kind of waking up in a bit of a fog today or wanting to like stay in dreamland, just a bit sleepier or more sensitive, gentle this morning as the moon, the Capricorn moon, softened a little bit from Neptune's influence. This can just it just plays into the energy of being hard to distinguish reality and fantasy. It could even feel like you didn't realize when your dreams ended and the day began if you were having strong dreams this morning. But Neptune's influence, it's just Neptune is kind of our saving grace today with all this Saturn Capricorn energy. It's really softening things and allowing us to lean into compassion and empathy. Yeah, so sleepy today. I wanted to be on here earlier. That is a goal of mine, just FYI everybody, to be on here earlier, be more consistent, really working through that in my Saturn return, finding discipline, but also learning to honor my body. And today my body really just needed to sleep an extra hour. So I feel that. Okay, but the moon transit, we're going to feel pretty strongly this afternoon. Take a look at the chart here. Right at noon Pacific time, the moon will meet up with Pluto retrograde. Hello, intensity. Pluto is easily the most intense planet of the solar system. It's shadowy, it's dark, it represents death and rebirth, it represents, kind of what is in the shadows. You can even think about like when you look at Pluto in an animation of the solar system, it's out on the outer edges. We don't really know what's going on. Is it a planet? Is it a dwarf planet? Who knows? So when the moon forms a conjunction to Pluto, how does this affect us, right? Powerful emotions could come through. But with the moon in Capricorn, I feel like it's going to be in a very matter-of-fact way. You know, it's like something very practical could happen that's like bringing up these powerful emotions, but we see them in like, okay, this is how it is. This is how it is. This is the strong thing I'm feeling right now. So in this case, the moon in Capricorn kind of cutting us off from being overly sensitive might be nice. However, the Capricorn moon wants to be in charge. It wants to be the boss. It makes us want to be the boss, essentially. And we kind of crave more power, more control. We want to create the stability, right? Like we crave stability and we want to be the one creating it. Pluto in Capricorn is all about breaking down systems of power and control, especially Pluto retrograde. And so, you know, it's going to make us really reach for control and power this afternoon. And we could feel pretty harsh or react pretty harshly if we feel insecure in any way. If we feel like we're not in control, like someone else is making all the decisions and it's unstable, that could bring up some really powerful emotions and could really tap us into our own shadows. So if you're someone who already has some control issues, no judgment here, welcome to the club. And you feel in a situation where you're not in control or even just any sense of overwhelm, just watch your reactions. Try not to let that inner ice queen come out with the moon in Capricorn. Heather, I know you're feeling this. You're like, I just want to be in control. I just want to know now. I get it. But be gentle with yourself and try to be patient. The energy of today is really creating an ability to be patient. So lean into that and just be nice. Be nice to other people midday. I'm a Virgo moon. Oh, Diane, this could be intense for me. Well, the moon is flowing with your moon, which is nice. But with your moon being in Virgo and the moon and Pluto meeting up in Capricorn, I could see those powerful emotions coming through really easily for you as well. So the same advice goes for you. Just observing. Always observing emotions as they surface. What are you showing me? Likely the lesson today is like, oh, I don't feel in control. I don't feel stable. I don't feel secure. How am I going to handle this? How can I create stability for myself regardless of the outside circumstances? That's something really great to think about today. And that stability could look like a deep breath. It could look like, you know, you're at work and your boss is pissing you off and you feel out of control. So you just go to the break room or the bathroom for 10 minutes and play some, you know, good music or something and just find control in your own body, find control in yourself. Even a sense of like rebelling against authority could come up with the moon conjunct Pluto. So just be nice. Be nice today is the moral of the story. And then this afternoon, 2:44 p.m., the moon moves into Aquarius. Not a sensitive, sweet sign normally. So it can continue the energy of feeling detached or like even we need some space. But the beauty of Aquarian energy is the ability to keep an open mind, see different perspectives. So as the waning moon moves into Aquarius, we could gain some new emotional perspectives that show us what we need to release. We're all about releasing right now in this moon phase. And it's a very introspective time as well. So, you know, kind of observing and analyzing Aquarian energy can be pretty analytical, but almost like I picture Aquarius as just being on a cloud and looking down at everybody else, seeing a different perspective, understanding the collective in a way that maybe those of us really in it in the 3D don't see. And that, you know, that's why they march to the beat of their own drum, why they're doing their own thing all the time, because they're really craving this other perspective and this ability to fit into community and fit into humanity, but not actually fit in, like to understand it, but not be in it, if that makes sense. So for us, this creates an opportunity to change our point of view, or emotions could come up that give us a different perspective with the moon in Aquarius. The key here is keeping an open mind. Keep an open mind and be willing to allow your emotions to show you maybe something that you haven't seen before, or show you something in a way you haven't seen it. You might find yourself craving your own space, wanting to be alone to process things, and that's totally okay. Both the Capricorn and Aquarius moon, I think we like our space to process things under these moon energies, so it might just be taking a couple minutes for yourself so you can have that perspective change. I think sometimes when we're in the middle of powerful emotion, especially because the moon moves into Aquarius just a couple hours after that moon-Pluto conjunction. So those powerful emotions could come up about midday today, and taking that space for yourself to process them and not continue to be in it, especially if it involves someone else, not continuing to feed into that energy could create a moment for you to be like, oh, I see why this is happening. Okay. Or I see what's happening even if I don't understand the why. Oh, good. I'm glad that resonates for you, Diane. I believe our solar system is totally by design, custom built. Other people think I'm crazy. What do you think? I agree, Danny. This is a big topic about creation versus evolution, all these things. We could probably go on and on for a long time about this, but astrology really connected me to my faith in a weird way. And even though it is, based in science and math and the angles that the planets are making to each other, but when you start to track the transits, you realize a lot of times one sets up for another. And I really believe everything happens for a reason. I believe in science. I believe in the Big Bang. I believe in all of that. But also, if you believe in the Big Bang, where did the energy come from? So I do think that it is a beautiful orchestrated dance here to teach us things and bring through different energies. And the timing is not by coincidence. I'll just put it that way. I don't think you're crazy. I totally think our solar system is by design too. And I think we have something really special here in the Milky Way. I do. I don't know. I've never been to another solar system, but I like ours. I'm feeling ready for uncomfortable experiences. And, I think that's a good space to be in. Just don't create the uncomfortable experiences, but being willing to flow when things are coming up is just a great ability to have regardless of where the moon is at. Ready? Oh, yeah. I know you would love that Aquarius analogy. So you're like looking down on the collective, like, what the heck are we doing right now? I see this different perspective that a lot of people aren't seeing. Ready for 2022 to get better. Lunar eclipse energy, Chiron return, all of this stuff at once. Oh yeah, Ken. It's been an intense couple months for you during the eclipses, but I think it's going to get a little bit lighter for you. I know you're a Virgo rising, if I remember correctly. So as we get closer to Virgo season, yes, there will still be some shedding and releasing, but once Virgo season hits, can we just agree that you and I, Ken, are going to be feeling great during this Virgo season? When the sun moves over our rising sign, yes, we can just start a new chapter. All right, and the only connection the Aquarius moon makes today is really going to amplify the energy of seeing new perspectives. At 6 p.m., jump ahead a few hours here. At 6 p.m., the moon forms a trine to Mercury. Let me jump even more so. Okay, so Mercury is now at 2 degrees. When the moon hits 2 degrees here, you see that nice flowing angle between the two of them. Insights can come through really easily when the moon and Mercury connect in this way. It's like information flows through us, and we can express our emotions more easily too, because our rational mind, ruled by Mercury, is flowing with our emotions. These two are allowing energy exchange very easily. Whatever comes into our mental awareness now is helping us to process and clear and release in the moon's releasing phase. So it's like these insights coming in, helping us see the new perspectives under the Aquarius moon, all of this to help us let go of things that aren't serving us. Maybe we had these big dreams and visions under the full moon in Sagittarius earlier this week. Now that the moon's in Aquarius, we're getting a different perspective and understanding, okay, yeah, we want those dreams. So how do we make them happen? And what do we need to let go of in order to make that quantum leap, take a few steps ahead? Expressing ourselves as easily is easy, especially in group settings or social environments, because the sun is in Gemini, the moon is in Aquarius, we crave community, and Mercury is in Gemini too. We want to chat with a lot of people. And I will say conversations with other people, whether they're in person or over text or on Instagram, even in the chat here, can help us to have these moments of processing, releasing, seeing new perspectives. So by the end of the day today, you could be having some conversations either internally or externally that really help you shift your perception and continue moving forward and releasing and letting go. I'm loving the energy by the end of the day today. I'm a little biased because I am a Mercurial person and I love when Mercury makes positive connections, but I could also see, you know, the first part of the day feeling like slow and that time warp we were talking about. But then by the end of the day, the pace kind of getting back into Gemini mode and picking up a little bit again. I can't wait for Virgo season either. I know I'm a Virgo, but I really believe it's like the best season. It's a great time of year too. Fall, the autumn equinox, I think is what it's called. Maybe it's not an equinox. It's not a solstice. Does anybody know what that's called when fall starts? Let me know in the comments. All right, and as we talked about, Mars and Chiron still in a loose conjunction in the background here. So don't be surprised if triggering moments come up. I don't think they'll be quite as triggering as yesterday, but could be a few little residual things to work out. And remember, I love how Danny brought this up, everything being by design. All of these transits are here to help us process things and show us the way, even when it does feel uncomfortable. Saturn is retrograde, so anything that pertains to Capricorn and Aquarius is more in question, as in reviewing those subjects, which I am very much okay with their retrograde than direct energy. Interesting, Kayla. Yeah, Saturn retrograde is like reviewing the foundation. And I'm curious, maybe you were born during a Saturn retrograde, because I feel the same way. I was born during a Saturn retrograde and I was like, oh, this energy feels kind of like nice and comfortable for me in a lot of ways. But I've had a lot of realizations about what that means for me. And I think as a collective with Saturn retrograde, we're all questioning authority a little bit more, looking to our governmental structures and being like, is this really working? Especially talking about that Capricorn, Aquarius energy. Saturn and Aquarius is really helping us to view things from a collective standpoint. So looking at the collective structures, the collective rules, and saying like, is this really working? Could we maybe update this or innovate this? Aquarius is a very innovative energy. I'm more worried about after October because of the eclipses again. I'm guessing that's what you're talking about. Okay, you guys, let's pull a card and see what other information needs to come through. I'm going to pull from the Starseed Oracle with all this Neptune energy today. This deck to me is Neptune. So this is a great time to ask questions. Saturn in my first house makes me appreciate the retrograde. Okay, Saturn in the first house, there's an element of being very responsible and mature. I think your purpose is to be a leader and your identity is to be that person that people can rely on. And so, yeah, you're probably liking the retrograde. Like, who can I rely on? You know, what is stable for me? Because that's such a big part of your identity. Yes, I will be back tomorrow, and tomorrow's Friday, right? So we'll be talking through the weekend ahead. And this weekend, hold on, let me think about this for a second. We have another connection with Saturn and Neptune. And now, why am I blanking on this? What's connecting with them? Oh, I think Venus. I believe Venus will be connecting with Saturn and Neptune over the weekend. So these connections today with the Sun, Saturn, and Neptune are kind of setting the stage and bringing things into our awareness that could show us our true values when Venus makes similar connections to these two planets over the weekend. Tomorrow will be all about the moon, but we'll go through all of that on Friday. All right, this card just flew out, Empathic Starseed. I have a feeling we're going to be talking a lot about empathy, and it makes a lot of sense with the Neptune activation we've been talking about. It says, Energetic sovereignty, absorbing what's not yours. Ooh, okay, let's see what the guidebook has to say. But already, it's kind of bringing me back to what I said about us all being a little bit more sensitive today, like our energy fields are more sensitive. Things can penetrate us more easily, and be aware of that. Wash your hands. Not only your like emotional, mental energy, but your physical energy, your physical body could be a little bit more sensitive today. All right, here's what it says. Empathic starseeds are here to shift the world through their physical presence alone. They don't need to do anything beyond being here, thanks to the energetic change their physical presence causes. Due to their highly sensitive nature, empathic starseeds can struggle with being on Earth and in a physical body. Many are prone to addiction and depression or tend to mistake other people's feelings and moods for their own. Natural introverts, they tend to prefer spending time alone or in small groups. Crowds can be overwhelming for them. If this card appears, consider lightening the load energetically. Don't put yourself under such pressure to go out into the world. Be gentle with yourself, allow extra time and care to recover energetically. If you're feeling pressured to keep up a certain pace, hello Gemini season. Instead, put on the brakes and treat yourself like a precious baby. Do whatever you can to take the pressures of the world off your plate. Switch off to switch back on. In today's world, it's normal to feel that we should be doing more, but perhaps being present in our life is enough. This could be a phase you're going through or simply how you're being called to live your life. If your work involves giving to others, right now you're being called to keep something for yourself. You don't need to transmute it all. It's okay to look after your own growth and healing before feeling you should offer it to the world. Indeed, it's necessary if you want to continue to do so sustainably. Yes, all the yes for this card, all of the yes. Be gentle with yourself. And I love how it talked about the pressure to keep up. The pace feels like it's really high right now. Mercury in Gemini, the sun in Gemini, go, go, go. We're very busy. But with the moon in Capricorn, then Aquarius, both of these energies really do favor isolation, taking a moment, slowing down, kind of distancing ourselves. And this could be really beneficial for us to process these emotions today, or just to take the space so we're not energetically drained. We're all more empathetic today. So, I think we can all take something away from this card. I also like that it said many are prone to addiction and depression or tend to mistake other people's feelings or moods for their own. Being energetically more sensitive today with the sun squaring off to Neptune can also make it easy for those feelings of sadness, doubt, worry to come in and kind of convince us that maybe we're not doing enough. And, the sun squaring off to Neptune, Neptune can bring an addictive tendency to it too. So it could be easy to reach for that thing that we think is going to numb out the sensitivity, right? So just know that that is part of the energy and that you don't have to be a victim to it or succumb to it. The conscious awareness of knowing like, oh, why am I doing this right now? Can be really helpful. But remember, you don't have to absorb what's not yours. It's beautiful to be sensitive and empathetic, all of these Neptune energies, but also you're number one. You come first. You got to take care of yourself before you can take care of other people. I have Neptune at 5 degrees. Send help. I'm curious what sign. Oh, in your first house. Okay. Neptune and Saturn in your first house, Kayla. Wow. So this energy, everything we've been talking about with Neptune and Saturn really resonates with you, I'm sure, with those planets being in your first house. Self-care, self-compassion. Neptune wants us to be caring and compassionate of everyone else, right? Like, we're constantly thinking about oneness and all of us and our energy and how it's linked to everyone else. But I think the Capricorn moon this morning, the Aquarius moon this afternoon reminds us to come back to what we need as individuals. Salt bath break is a beautiful way to use this energy. That's self-care. I love it. And a salt bath is really great for removing toxins, removing density, and a beautiful way to align with the releasing phase of the moon. Taking that time for yourself, taking that distance, and allowing any density. Like when you're in the bath, Picture any toxins coming out of your body. Like, your brain is so powerful. And if you think of those things happening, your body will start the processes of doing them without you even realizing it. Oh, good. On point with how you're feeling. Fill up your own cup, then others. Lots of self-care planned this weekend. Going with the flow. So beautiful. So beautiful. And the moon will move into Pisces this weekend too. So it's really going to amplify the energy of release, letting go, and going with the flow. You're already ahead of the curve. I have not heard of this, but let me know more about it in the comments. Do I need to read this? Neptune and Capricorn in the 4th house. You and me both, Rachel. Neptune and Capricorn is an interesting energy, and I learn more about it all the time just through observing my own life. But we have big dreams when it comes to our career. All of us who have Neptune and Capricorn, who are in kind of the same generation, and mine's in the 4th house too. So really big dreams about not only our career, but also our homes, our families, like that long-term stability and how we want to create it. Big visions about those things for us. And you probably were like me as a little girl, like thinking about your family you wanted to create and the job you wanted to have when you grew up, having big dreams about those things. My 1st house has people confused at first impression. They say I look unapproachable. Yeah, that could definitely come across with Neptune and Saturn in the 1st house. But luckily, I'm sure once they get to know you, you're very sweet, and you I kind of like doing that, where people are like, oh, I wasn't expecting you to be like that. And you're like, yeah, I'm more than meets the eye. You also have Neptune and Capricorn, yeah. All right. Neptune in the 12th house, 21 degrees. Neptune in the 12th is a beautiful energy. It makes it probably like very easy for you to lean into faith and trust. Religion might have been a really big part of your life for a long time, or maybe still is. But faith and trust come to mind just knowing that Neptune is in the 12th house. All right, let's end with our affirmation of the day today. I honor my accomplishments. Remember what we said at the beginning of this live stream? The sun harmonizing with Saturn creates an element of recognition, especially with Saturn retrograde. We're reviewing these systems, these structures we've already created in our life. So honoring everything you've worked so hard for. Saturn brings hard work, right? Honoring these things, honoring your own accomplishments, giving yourself credit for how far you've come, and not focusing too much on the future and what you want to accomplish. You will get there. It will happen. And I think it can make it easier for that to happen when we're already in the energy of accomplishment, when we're already proud of ourselves, when we acknowledge how much we've already done, we're in the energy of doing more of that. So honor your accomplishments today. Give yourself credit. Give yourself grace and space to process your emotions. If you need to take a moment for yourself, do it. Take care of yourself today. Protect your energy today. If you haven't left the house yet, and you're a crystal person like me, grab a crystal to protect your energy with the sun squaring Neptune, maybe some obsidian, something to just keep negative energy from entering your field. Ooh, yeah. Neptune and Saturn blend so well and actually balances you out. That you are the energy we've been talking about, Kayla. You are the energy. We keep talking about Neptune and Saturn being activated at the same time. It's nice. If it was just Saturn or just Neptune, we'd be like fearful, doubtful, confused, serious, negative. Both of them together kind of help soften each other. Known as the 7 tablets of creation. Oh, I need to know more about this. I don't know if I want to read a book. Do you have a YouTube video I can watch? Just kidding, but not really. All right, everyone. That's going to do it for me today. I really appreciate you all being here. Like I said, going with the flow. I know I've been streaming at a different time every day this week, but I'm trying to take my own advice, honor my own body, give myself rest, and be able to show up for you with a clear mind and with full energy. So I appreciate you going with the flow and being here with me today. I hope that you found this video helpful. If you haven't already, please go ahead and like and subscribe to our channel. We're getting closer and closer every day to 1,000 subscribers, and that is the mark we have to hit before we can monetize this channel so we can keep these videos free for you every single weekday morning. I hope you have a beautiful day. Thank you for being here, Diane. I love to see you in the comments. Thank you for showing up for yourself today, for taking the past 45 minutes or so to really think about your own energy, think about the energy you're putting out in the world, and thank you for showing up for each other in the comments. I appreciate you so much, and I love this community we're building together. Have a beautiful Thursday, and I will see you right back here tomorrow morning, this Friday, to talk through the energy of the weekend. Stay curious. Thank you so much for joining us and aligning with the energy of the universe today. If you enjoyed this morning's episode of Transits Today, you can join our live astrology discussion every weekday morning right here wherever you're watching. And head to thespiritualjournalist.com to read your daily astrology forecast and browse the Spiritual Shop. The most fun way to help keep these forecasts free and support more content like this is to buy yourself a little something on our website. But if you're feeling extra generous, you can also buy me a coffee to fuel future live streams. Just tap the link in the description or head to buymeacoffee.com and search The Spiritual Journalist. And speaking of, you can also tune in to The Spiritual Journalist, our weekly live interview where we ask our guests questions about everything from crystals and manifestation to mental health and the environment. Those conversations stream live right here wherever you're watching now every Tuesday. I'm so grateful you found us here, and I can't wait for our next conversation.